Hello, Dr. Ray. Congratulations. You just came to say goodbye to us here at our FIB office because you obtained your much desired PG training position now here in Germany as a medical doctor.
Thank you.
Tell us about your whole journey, the full adventure. What made you find and decide for our course in the first place?
First I started with a course in Charité University, Berlin. They had conducted a course for ausländische Arzt in that was in Cochin.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just B1 at that time. I was just learning German, and I started this course, and I finished the fast track course, but then I didn't know my way, like how can I go ahead with the entire thing. So of course I spoke to Mr. Ashok, and then he told me that getting language level C1 is absolutely necessary. So of course I started immediately, like with my C1 training, and within a period of around 8 months I was done with from B1 till C1. Once I was done with the entire training, then so I realized that it's very easy to get the visa through your agency, and I also realized that you have 100% success rate for all the students who have come by till now. So of course I decided that why not, like if everyone else has done it, why can't I? So yeah, I decided.
And so you said it was easy to get the visa. Why do you think that it was easy? What helped you in the preparation to make it easy?
Because I had help. I was told what questions I'll be asked. I was told about each and every details about my interview. I was also told what all documents I'll be requiring. By Skype interview, it was very easy that way, and and of course I got an appointment very easily, and the visa was there with me within a month. So it was actually very nice. The only thing which took time was actually getting the blocked account.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what were your first impressions when you arrived here in Germany and in Bonn?
It was very different because there are actually very few people on the street, and it's not something we Indians are used to. We're always used to seeing, we have 1 billion people in our country. It was very weird in the beginning. Going to small things like going to the supermarket, and small things like buying the regular things that you need was very difficult in the beginning. But one of the biggest reasons why it was easy was because I had C1. I could actually understand what other people are talking. Language is paramount. If you cannot communicate properly, you're going to have problems here. But because my language situation was quite good, so I could easily manage everything.
Mm-hmm. And how did you learn the culture and the mentality of the people? Because communication skills are more than just the language that you can pick up in the classroom.
Yeah, exactly. That you learn in due time, actually. Like there are a lot of differences, a lot of cultural differences. But in due time, you learn, you make some mistakes, you will definitely make some mistakes. Mm-hmm. There will be some times, but people in Germany have always found them very nice. They will come up to you and directly tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And there's no negativity as such. It's easier. It's easy to manage because we are also very accommodating people. We change. If we have some problems, of course we can manage. It is vice versa. But yeah, there are a lot of things which need to be taken care of. I can't think of an example right now because I'm pretty much my integration is complete in that way. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of German friends as well who helped me through the scenario. So yeah, I would say that you need a little bit of time. That's all.
And how do you spend your time here in Germany throughout the course? Do you sit in the classroom most of the time, or how do you study for the exams? And how did you get this cultural integration?
Okay, in my scenario, I'm a very social person as it is. I love going out, and I'm living in Bonn, which is a very, very good city. If I want to go out on the weekends or even on the weekdays, But the thing is that it's always better. Like here in Bonn, we have the Rhine River. You can just walk by it, or you can cycle. The weather's always nice, except the winters, of course. But there are a lot of pubs. The beer here is, of course, everyone knows about the beer in Germany. So I would always go out on to a nice bar on the weekend, and I always end up meeting some new people or the other. Of course, we have other people in the course as well who accompany me, and it's quite a good experience that way. It's not just sitting in the classroom and studying, it's a lot more going out and being yourself. You get the freedom here, yeah.
So you mean going out is not just having fun and spending the money that your parents spent on the coursework and hoping that you complete the exams, but going out, as we call it from the course provider side, the out work is part of the integration task, right?
Definitely, because the more you go out, the more you get to speak. And everyone has a different way of speaking. The more you hear other people talk, the more you figure out. That is also a part of integration, what I just spoke about. In due time, when you're outside and you get to know the different types of people here, the different scenarios here, you actually learn quite a lot. Going out is absolutely necessary. It should be part of the course, to be honest. It is very, very, very important.
Could you tell us about your voluntary engagement, your volunteer work at the Senior Citizen Nursery Home?
Yes, it was a very nice experience. After 1 month of me being here, I started going to the senior home. So my work was actually quite fun. I was given Wednesdays and I had to play bingo with the old ladies. So to some people it may sound okay, like exactly what do you do when you're there, but then with the old people you get to talk to them, you get to realize what situation they're in, and we're all doctors. Most of the time we will be treating old patients. You need to understand the way they speak, the way they feel, and of course when you're in bingo you're speaking all the numbers. You're saying 53, bitte kreuzen Sie an. You're saying small things. These are also very important. You get more confidence just by being out there.
And what about the accommodation situation in Germany? You've been provided a room when you arrived here. Could you tell us about your experiences, also of the accommodation market, of the prices in general?
Yeah, I will just say in this scenario, for me it was very well handled. I already had a room when I reached, but then in due time I realized that it's become very tough. It's become quite tough to get a room here. And the rent is pretty high. It can go as high as around 400 to 500 euros per month. And yeah, like there are a lot of students coming in because Cologne and Bonn are two very student-friendly cities, and you'll of course be living with a roommate in separate rooms, of course, but you'll have a roommate, and it is quite tough, to be honest. But till now, I hope that other people will be able to, the agency will be able to manage it in due time. But yeah, it is quite tough, I will definitely say that.
And what can you get for 400 to 500 euro?
You can get one room with a kitchen and a bathroom. That's about it.
For yourself or shared?
Your own room, but there's another room like which your roommate will have. That's about it. But that is, of course, for my house. It's not the same for every other house. I can't talk about the entire situation. I've seen other people, like few other people who are living in very small rooms alone and with only a bathroom attached and a kitchen somewhere else. It's a student-friendly city, but there are a lot of things which are quite tough in the living situation. Definitely, yeah.
And how much did you have to study to pass the two exams, the medical language exam and the equivalency exam?
It was quite tough, to be honest. We were given an integration course by the agency itself, and it was said that you should study at least 6 hours per day, but I would say even that can sometimes be less, in my opinion. But that is not for the entire time. For the first exam, which is the Fachsprachprüfung, that is the medical language exam, that can be accomplished easily if you have your C1 certificate. And so it's a good thing that all the people who are in the course first do C1 and then they go through the Fachsprachprüfung. That is perhaps manageable in around 2 months, around 1 or 2 months of studying should be enough for it. But the Kenntnisprüfung, the Gleichwertigkeitsprüfung before the Approbation, it can be very tough. And it's different dependent on which city you get as your exam center, because the examiners, you're shared the information about the examiners only 1 month before your exam. So you need to pretty much prepare for everything, all the subjects, which means innere medicine, surgery, pharmacology, Rechtsmedizin, and also Strahlenschutz, that means radiation therapy. After you're done with these 5, which you need to definitely know, like A to Z, you need to finish everything in that. You need to study at least minimum of 7 to 8 hours, in my opinion, per day, when you decide that you're giving the exam. Till then, it's all fun and games, but once you decide that you're giving the exam at a specific date, you need to make sure that you're just sitting and studying. But yeah, during this time, it becomes very tough to read only the textbook the entire day. After you're done, perhaps with 6 to 7 hours of studying, I would definitely say, get out of the house. Really, it's a beautiful city out there. There are a lot of things to do, and it's also a part of your training. The more, the better you make your language, the easier it gets to read the German books and study on it. Yeah.
And tell us about your job hunting later. How did you prepare for your job hunting, and what are the critical points to get a job?
I would say that it was very helpful because I needed. Of course, our German becomes quite good after C1, but even then you end up making some grammatical mistakes. And when you're writing, the agency had, of course, given me an entire seminar just to prepare my job application. I was given. It was a very personal. It was a very personal touch, and I was able to sit and I was able to write my entire CV, like sitting with Frau Petreit, and I was able to finish all my work. And I was given a format with which how I can apply, what should I write as when I'm introducing myself. The job market is also not as easy as many people think it is. It's quite difficult to get, especially surgery, because I wanted to be a surgeon. So to get a job in a surgical field can be very tough. Even in medicine, of course, it is tough. But then I would recommend that, after you start applying, after you get your approbation and you start applying for jobs, do it instantly. I made the mistake of waiting for quite a while. Of course, after passing, I went home, and that was my personal thing, yeah. But I would say that once you pass, immediately start applying, because job hunting takes at least 2 to 3 months, not less.
How many applications did you send?
I must have said definitely around 50 to 60 applications. And after sending 50 to 60 applications, I was called to 10 different hospitals, which is also quite a good number that way. But but a lot of hospitals just say that no, we don't want, like they've already found someone else, or they won't call you specifically for the interview. You need to send a lot of applications. But once you'll of course be also invited to work in the hospital and see how things go. So I worked in 3 different hospitals, and in the end I decided for one.
Could you specify what it means to work?
Work means you'll be going to the wards, and as a surgeon I can tell you what I did when I was working there.
But could you specify, it does not mean you are hired and work, but it means you're doing an observership, right?
Yes, exactly. It was a hospital. It was an observership. They ask you to go there and do a hospitation for a day or two to see how the things in the hospital are and how the team is. You need to be very integrated with the people around you. You need to be in a team, you need to work together, you need to see the patients, everything together. There are a lot of things which have to be decided. The other people, when they call you, it's, you can say, part of the interview. They see how dedicated you are, They see exactly if you are friendly enough to be able to, and again, German comes into play here also. You need to be very open, you need to be friendly, and it's not so easy if you're stuttering in your language. It's not something which you can manage.
And so how many job offers did you get in out of all these applications? Let us say, you said you sent about 60 applications. How many interviews did you get, invitations?
I told you, like, I got 10 interviews. I was called for 10 interviews,
Okay.
but I was told yes only
Okay.
by I was told yes by 3 hospitals.
So you got 3 job offers.
Yes, I got 3 job
Okay.
offers.
Within which amount of time after you passed the approbation exam?
Within 4 months of
Okay.
passing my approbation exam.
And what is the secret to mastering the interview?
I would definitely say be yourself. First of all, when you go for the interview, you will generally be asked about where are you from, what are your hobbies. It's not going to be a medical questionnaire. That's not it. You shouldn't think that, hey, he's going to start asking you about some medication or about what you do in surgeries. No, it's more of a personal touch. Once you're done with approbation, you're done with the studying part, at least for now. Of course, when you're working, you need to study side by side, but you need to be completely yourself. You need to show that you're enthusiastic about working in the hospital. You need to show that you want to work only in this hospital, and of course, that's never the case, but you need to be very interested. And once you've realized that you found the right hospital for you, definitely, they will themselves, they won't tell you directly that day itself that, yeah, please come to a hospital. You'll probably get they always have more people applying for the jobs. It's not something that easy. If they find you the best amongst the other people who have applied, you can definitely just, if it's good from your side as well, you can just go to that respective place.
And what would you recommend other colleagues who are still now sitting in India and thinking about coming to Germany and thinking about doing it? Is it with us or with another agency? What is your recommendations?
I would say in this matter that it depends. It's a personal point of view. I believe that in my country also the situation's quite good if you want to work, but if you want a new experience, and the situation here it's quite good. Like the technology which is used, at least for me, in surgeries, it's something which I really wanted to do. And I would say that, yeah, it's generally, it's your personal opinion in this matter, if you want to come or not, but you need a lot of patience, definitely. Because when you're learning the language, we as medical students are not so used to just like sitting and learning a language the entire day. We are very impatient. We want to finish everything off as soon as possible. I would say that you need once you have that patience and once you decide, if you've made your mind up that, hey, I'm coming to Germany, I have decided that, yeah, I want to see the world, definitely. It's a very beautiful part of the world. If you want to get out and you want a change in scene, I would definitely recommend Germany.
What were the most valuable features in the course from the first day when you contacted Mr. Ashok until today that you're sitting here and saying goodbye?
I would say that during the course, I would say that the workshops which were conducted, a lot of them, they were very helpful in the approbation exam. They were very helpful because a real doctor comes and he's teaching you everything which you need to do. He's also passed his exam and he's probably done quite a lot. Like you would say he's a fakas. That means he's finished his 6 years of postgraduate training as well, and they are those people coming and teaching us. So definitely we have a lot to learn from them. It was a very, very brilliant feature of the course. And other than that, going to the senior house, and that was also very, very important. And yeah, generally in the course you have a lot of other friends. That's very important. I had a lot of other friends who I could go out with all the time. And we had a group of people who always used to sit together. We used to make food together at home. We used to go out playing together. We used to go. It was a very nice experience, and this experience was it was 10 times better because of the friends which I made during this course, definitely.
I mean, as you know and as you experienced, our philosophy of this course, and in this sense we differ from some other agencies, is that we do not take the participants as young students whom we take into the classroom and spoon feed with teaching, but we rather train them for independence, you know, to really find their own way and really get into the German system. Which kind of experience did you make with this approach?
For me, it was actually a better approach because I would say that after you're done with the workshops, you need to sit down yourself and you need to do your own studying. That it doesn't matter how many classes you have per day. You can do classes from 8 in the morning till 5 p.m. But then we have done that throughout a medical school. We are not in medical school anymore. We have already finished our classes. We are already doctors in our respective countries. Now, I would say that an approach of sitting by my own, and of course I was told, which I was giving the material which I needed by the agency, that you need to study from here. And after the workshops, I was told what is important, what is very important, what we should know in the course. There were questionnaires. You can pretty much figure out what you need to, but I would say that the approach which was taken, it works for me, definitely. It's something which is better because you can't sit in the class entire day and keep on getting lectures. If you're sitting by yourself and studying for 5-6 hours, I would say you learn quite a lot more.
Thank you very much and all the best for your future job. Tell us, just as a last comment, where are you going to be and what's going to be your job? Which PG branch have you chosen?
Yeah, I have chosen to be an assistant doctor in visceral surgery. That's gastrointestinal surgery. And I'm going to be in Salzwedel. It's a small town which is an hour away from Hamburg and an hour and a half away from Berlin. So since I've already been in Berlin, I'm happy to go back to that same area again.
Oh, but that makes me ask another question. Why did you choose a small town and not aim for a big town like Cologne or Hamburg or Berlin itself?
Again, this is my advice to everyone. I did one of the 3 offers, the job offers I was given was in Cologne. And Cologne is a beautiful city, it's a very big city, but like I said, we do hospitation and you figure out how the hospital is. I worked for 7 days and I realized that in the big cities, perhaps as a surgeon, you don't get equal number of chances as you do in the small cities. I made up my mind that because my aim is first and foremost to be a good surgeon. Going to a small city helps me achieve that aim. So of course I chose for the small city.
Does this also have to do with the size of the hospital? Many students who come here aim for university teaching hospitals or wish to get in the biggest hospital possible. What are your experiences regarding this?
Again, I was called, my personal experience, I was called to the Uniklinikum Cologne as another hospital which offered me a hospitation there. And I worked there for around 7 hours, but I would say that they had 30 doctors working under them. And if you're just one of 30 doctors, I assure you, getting the same medical training which you do perhaps in the hospital where I'm going, there are only 5 doctors. You get more of a personal touch from the head of the department. You definitely get to learn more. Since I've already been to the university clinic and I've worked there for some time, in my personal view, I would say that not yet. Perhaps you can work there once you have some experience, maybe around 4 or 5 years of experience, and you think that you're good enough to work in a university hospital. But when you reach here, definitely not. I would really go against that. I would say that work in a smaller hospital, learn your entire how the things work. It's very different from India. It's very, very different. Once you figure it out, definitely I would say that you can, but then not at this point.
Thank you so much and good luck.
Thank you. You're welcome.